Well, hello and good morning, everyone. This is Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring and the new founder of You Can Tutor. I decided just to come on here, come live. This is usually our two tutors talking, but we're having a special episode today because I really need to make sure that I get the word out on the You Can Tutor course and membership popping in. But before I get to all that, I've had a lot, and I mean a lot, of conversations with a lot of tutors from almost all corners of the globe, if I'm not mistaken. I was in was it Tanzania, that was one, and then Australia, another person from Australia, and then Florida and Maryland, and just all over. Okay. So not only do I just tutor, but I also talk to other tutors or potentials. There's a lot of teachers that are thinking, like really thinking about getting out there and trying to design their own tutoring company. And I know a lot of us think, especially the ones that are just brand spanking new to tutoring, that this is just going to be a nice, easy slide, something I can just do on down low, and everything will be all hunky dory. But there's a lot of work to it. So I know on TikTok, I titled this, start your tutoring business, and I'm here for it. Hey, Art. Hey, Anna. Hey, Nana. So I'm just really here just to kind of help break down those concepts and just maybe share out some of the things that I've been having on some of the conversations. So, a couple people, and I know when you first get started, hey, how are you? When you first get started, I know that everyone thinks that I can just, put up a flyer, make a list of all the skills that I do, make a list of all my certification, put my contact information on there, maybe throw a picture on there, put like my additional contact information, put my price on there, and you're putting so much on a flyer. And then you have to stop and think, okay, you got this beautiful flyer, you made it all decorative, but then what's missing? Who are you talking to? Are you trying to advertise for yourself? Or are you trying to advertise to a potential parent who is struggling and really want to be able to reach out and get the solution that they're looking for? Or are you basically creating this to, I don't know, not really to throw shade, but to basically just talk about yourself and all your accomplishments? And there's a lot of people that I'm not a huge marketing guru. I just learned a few things just by doing this. Hey Manny, just really trying to get hold because the last 4 years, I decided, hi Willie, that I decided that I didn't want to be in the classroom anymore. And around this time of year, there's a lot of teachers that are thinking the same exact thing. They're thinking, why am I here? What am I doing? Where am I going? How am I progressing? So when it comes down to making that major decision, now you got to figure out, okay, I want to do tutoring, and you can't just do tutoring nonchalantly. There is a structure to it. There is a breakdown to it. So this is what's going to happen. You have to talk to your audience. Who is your target audience? Because if you list everything that you do, this is me, this is me, this is me, this is me, this is me. And guess what? They don't hear you. They only see you and they're going to keep walking because they're like, all right, I don't need help with you. I need help with something in particular. Maybe my child is struggling reading. Maybe my child is struggling with math. Maybe my child wants to learn something that I don't know about, like coding, or maybe starting a farm, or maybe raising animals. I don't know. But no matter what, we have to hit on those pain points. And I'm hoping the young lady that I was talking to early on, yep, how you doing, Preston? Um, the one that I was talking to early on, right away, she's like, look, I looked up like the pain points because that's what a lot of companies, a lot of businesses, a lot of programs will say. You got to hit the pain points and the heartstrings of your audience. Because take a look. Look at all the things that you have. Like I know I love my Burt's Bees. Okay. Shameless plug. But I saw the commercial of it on Burt's Bees. I know I'm doing laundry right now. I got all, okay? There's constantly commercials about all. But what was it about all that made me want to buy that versus Tide versus Era? Okay, I'm showing my age now. Versus Arm& Hammer, you know? Why did I buy the all as opposed to that? Now they have something that it doesn't have dyes, it doesn't have a scent, but it does get my clothes nice and clean. And it doesn't have like this overwhelming fragrance. But it was a little bit cheaper than Tide when I got it on sale. But normally it's about the same price. So the same thing is happening with you have to really hit on those pain points. Maybe it's someone that just got sick and tired of doing their laundry that has a smell to it. So when you're doing this, you need to figure out who is your target audience. And you're not gearing it towards the kids, you're gearing it towards the parents. So if this resonates, go ahead, just put in the chat like, yeah, this sounds pretty much on point. But it does take time. Hey Lou, how are you doing? Val, so nice to see you. And of course, I have some people that's here on, sorry, I have to like angle myself on Instagram. It might be Miss Jasmine. Okay, that would be awesome. So when you niche down, and I know we hear that so often, you have to niche down to what you want. So if you know that, yes, I can teach English, I can teach math, I can teach social studies, I can do, class prep, I can do test prep, I can do organizational skills, I can do coding, you can do so many things. Yes, that's the best thing about being human. We are multifaceted. We can do many things at once if we really wanted to and be good at it. If we really practice and trains ourselves up. But then not everybody is like that. Some people are just like, I like my bread toasted with just a little bit of butter. And there's some people that I want my bread toasted with some cinnamon and sugar, basically trying to make it into a cinnamon toast crunch. So some people like plain bagels, some people like Panera's Crunch, right? Hey, Cam. So it just seems like you really need to figure out who is your target audience and speak directly to them. So when you speak directly to them, you got to think like them. So especially like if you're a parent yourself and you want to talk to parents, you're not looking it up on okay, let me see what other people wrote. No, you're a parent. What is it that will move you to get a tutor? What is it exactly that you really want to connect with to get a tutor? So like, I don't want to see my child struggle. Boom. That's a pain point. Write that down. I want my child to advance or get into advanced classes. Boom. That's another one. Write that down. Well, I noticed my child when he or she doesn't want to read a book, but then they're watching TV all the time. So you want them to get excited about reading. Boom. That's a point. So it's like, look at your area. Look at your area expertise and apply to that. Hey, Yolanda. We got Edward in here. We got Shorty. What's up, Shorty? Brett, Junebug. Junebug is adorable. That is a name. I love that. But when it comes down to getting your niche, knowing what you want to do, and then now you got to figure out who is your target audience. And I've said this on multiple videos, and I'm going to say it again here. You don't chase, you attract. You can take that and apply it to anything part of your life, any part of it. Don't chase. Don't chase after that person that you like. Okay? Don't chase after that job. Those jobs that you want, they're going to attract to you. People are going to, as long as they know that you're around and you're in existence, they're going to come to you, especially the ones that you want. Because if not, if you just go ahead and throw stuff in the flyer, here's a flyer, here's a flyer, there's a flyer, here we go, then you're going to attract everybody. And then all of a sudden you will be able to service anybody. You have to understand that there is a strategic, and if I might say, an ecosystem that goes on with tutoring. It's not just go ahead, put a flyer, tell your friends, and go ahead and tutor. And then all of a sudden you're just like tutoring everybody. And I know for me, I'm not going to go from 1 hour, I'm going to be tutoring German. The next hour, I'm going to be tutoring Algebra 2. The next hour, I'm going to be tutoring a third grader doing reading. And next hour, I'm going to, that's too much. It'll be cute in the beginning, but it's not going to last very long. So when it comes to building and starting your business, it starts with you. What do you want this business to be? Don't just look at what everybody else is doing. In your heart of heart, what type of tutor do you want to be? It's almost like, what type of teacher do you want to be? I know some people are like, I want to be the cool teacher. And I'm like, that's great, but you still got to do work. Or I want to be like informative, but at the same time, inspirational. I'm like, okay, what does that look like? Sit down, figure out what is your mindset. And if you're coming from the classroom, you definitely need what I like to call an educational detox, because the days of, I want to help everybody and I worry about their pockets and I worry about, you need the enema to clean that out. Because now you're not an employee, you're an employer. You are the one that has to bring everybody in. You're the one that's going to have to create that journey, not only for the student, but also for the parent. Because this thing called tutoring is still new for a lot of people. A lot of people don't know where to get a tutor, even though I'm in this world, so I see tutors all over the place. But now a lot of people are like, okay, my kid is starting to get into some kind of math that I don't know. Or I wasn't strong in math, and now they're all of a sudden they're talking about variables and make sure you get the polynomials and then take the cube root. There's a cube root. There was something more than a square root. Yes. So this is why I always tell my parents, just give me your child. Just give me your child. Let me do what I gotta do, and you'll see some changes in like maybe a day, probably at the end of the session. By having those conversations and knowing what your niche is, now you're trying to make your business a little more seamless. So now you're like, if someone comes up to you and say, hey, but do you know how to do English? For me, I'd be like, no. All right. Stay at home shop. How are you? So if anything, knowing your niche and knowing what your structure is makes life so much easier, especially for your business. Because like I said, if someone says, hey, Audrey, how do you do this? Or do you do this? I can say, no, I don't do the English, but I do know some people that do. So with me really getting to know a lot of different tutors, as I said, I'm talking to, I'm actually building a network. So if I get someone that it's not my strength, it's really my weakness, let me find someone else, because I know someone else's, my weakness is someone else's strength. And that's how I think. But when it comes to the pain points, you need to talk to your audience, not talk at them, talk to them, saying that I relate with you. I've been there. I have kids myself. I don't. So I know I have to make certain adjustments because I don't have children. But I understand kids because I was in the classroom, in the trenches for about over 18 years. So I understand what's going to happen with the curriculum. I understand where the pitfalls are going to be. And I understand if you feel that your teacher is doing your child dirty and you tell me the situation, I'm going to be like, yes, this is going to be called for a conference. I've done that before. So first thing, get your mindset together. All right. Second thing, know what your niche is. Third thing, talk to your parents, not talking at them. All right. So these are some things. This is just the basic stuff that you can hit on any business out there. There's a lot of people that are doing staying home. There's a lot of people on TikTok that's popping in. I greatly appreciate everyone that's popping in here, but you can actually use that for anything. I have a couple in Instagram. So when it comes to once you figure out, you got your mindset, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to dedicate myself to it. Awesome. Hey, Edgar. Then you get your niche. Even if someone tries to ask for some assistance outside your niche, that's perfectly fine. Then after your niche, you're talking to your parents. So sometimes people are like, okay, I get that, Audrey, but like, how do I really get those pain points? So this is what I've learned throughout the years. Take a look and say, all right, what are the parents seeing? They're seeing their kids struggle. They're seeing their kids not doing homework. They're seeing their kids failing grade online or seeing their grades diminish dramatically online, especially after that first test. Yeah, talk about that one. Then what are they hearing? They're hearing their kids mumble. They're hearing the kids, I don't want to go to school. School's stupid. They're seeing or they're hearing maybe their other moms ridiculing their kid. That happens a lot. That's terrible, but it does happen. Then what are they saying? I'm dumb, especially the kids. I'm dumb. Everyone gets it except for me. And then what are the fears? I know parents' fears like, I want my kid to graduate. I want my kid to have a better life than I did. I want my kid to feel confident. And then the dream is for them to graduate, for all of a sudden their kids like, oh, this is easy. I love when one of my clients, he was just like, oh, this is easy. I can do this. When before we met, he was like, all of this is just gibberish to me. And the mom was just walking in the background, just barely just walking to the kitchen. And he's like, oh, this is easy. I can do that. And you can hear her very faintly in the background saying, that sounds so amazing. That sounds so good. And of course, she texts me after. She's like, I don't know what you did to my son, but I'm going to tell you, I was on the verge of tears when I heard my son say, oh, this is easy. And it pertained to math. Some people, that's a dream. Maybe a lot of you guys have products that you're selling because there's a lot of small businesses that are building themselves out. And there might be a product that you use that a lot of people are like, man, no one's not going to pay for that, but then all of a sudden they start using it. And I mean, like I bought this at one of the TikTok shops, nice little pen. Here we go. And just to support another person. And it's the smoothest pen I've ever used. The smoothest pen. I never knew that. And it just has like a little charm on the top and they glorified it and all this stuff. And I bought a pen just to support her. And I'm like, this is the smoothest pen. I'm definitely going to buy some more pens later on. Right? But that's what it comes down to. You need to figure out what are those pain points. So then all of a sudden you're going to attract, all it takes is just one client. If you can get one client and you do right by that one client, guess what? Your business is going to grow. You got something like word of mouth. You got something that you have to put some actions to, but that word of mouth spreads like wildfire, especially for tutoring. Because really, guys, if you really think about it, the most one-to-one clients I had was 31 in a week. Would not suggest that. Mad crazy. And for me, I'm open 7 days a week, so it doesn't even matter. But by having that one client, my first year was horrible. I'm not even going to sit here and try to lie to you. My first year doing online tutoring was absolutely trash. I had 4 students. They were amazing kids. Thank God for them, but it was hard. Financially, thank God I had money set aside, and I will always suggest that to people before you jump. Make sure you have a budget and make sure you have money set aside to last you for at least 2 years. because that first year, even if you're hustling and bustling, and if you're not sure where to hustle and bustle, that's where you got to go. Hey, DC Destroyer, what's going on? Um, so when it comes down to your tutoring, you just have to get it set up, and people need to know that you exist. A lot of people will set up, I want to get the best equipment. I want to get the best website. I want to get the best this. I want to have all my social media lined up. But a lot of people really rely on their website. How are you going to get people to your website? Oh, I can do the SEOs. Okay. How are you going to get people to your website? People are not just sitting around like, you know what? Let me go look at this website real quick. Let me just look at some websites. No, they're seeing who you are. They're seeing your personality. Just like how I'm doing this, I'm on live. I am putting my personality out there. I'm telling you what I see. I'm sharing my expertise and my experiences. Yes, could I sit here and do some math problems for you? Not a problem. I can do that. But I feel like based on what I'm trying to do, you want to gear it towards what you're doing. Yep. Drawing people to your website is hard. Thank you, DC, because a lot of people just don't understand. You have to do other things. You have to jump on social media. That's the quickest way. In order for you to get, let's say, one person, you got to talk to 100 people. It's that power of 1%. If you want to take on 10 people, how many people do you need to go? Let's go, math people. 1,000. So you need to talk to a lot of people. You need to talk to a lot of people just to get your 20. Because some people are like, oh, I just want 6. I'm like, okay. Can you live off 6? Yeah, definitely, Natasha. You do. You have to talk to a lot of people. And that's why social media is so big, because there is a lot of people here. And I always give like a huge suggestion. Okay. When you go, say on TikTok, Instagram, everybody's on this live, right? When you're on a live, and if you have a business, you should always be promoting your business. Always. When I'm on TikTok and I'm listening to my favorite DJs, I'm sitting there hopping and bopping, okay. And then sitting there tapping the screen, tap, 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 to the point that my right thumb is strong as hell. I'm just sitting there tapping. So when it's time for me, I'm like, one day I was like, look, I got to go to work. I love this, but I got to go. But this is what I do. I'm an online math tutor. If anybody needs assistance with math, let me know. Just hit me up. Something as simple as that. I got 3 clients in less than 3 minutes. All because I just put a line, one-liner. Every time, you don't know who's looking for you. You can do a flyer and put it in your local sushi restaurant, any of the takeaway places. I get tons of people from takeaway places, because what are they doing? They're just standing around waiting for their food. And what happens when you stand around? You look around. And then if you get somebody that you have your flyer that catches their eye, they're going to gravitate to it. See, I'm not chasing, I'm attracting. And on that flyer, here's the key thing. If you ain't write it down by now, you need a QR code. If you get that QR code and it's connected to your website, then all of a sudden people just have to take it. I'm just going to use my calculator for right now because I'm using my phone. You just have them scan it, and now your information is in their phone. If you want to have a QR code and connect it to, if you don't have a website already, you have an email, you can scan it and connect it to your email. Or you can scan it and connect it to a contact form. So with the contact form, you can probably gather more information and always leave a space for the parent to actually say what exactly they need. So you notice I haven't said that you have to have a website just yet. You will. It will be nice to have a website, but I'm talking about when you're starting your tutoring business. You don't have to have a website. If you want, you can go on Canva and create yourself a landing page. Now you can do websites on Canva. If you buy Canva Pro, you can do up to 5 websites. using their domain name until you want to buy your own. I know, I'm giving you tips. So DC Destroyer, that's on TikTok, say I'm currently building my YouTube channel and half of my subscribers are from TikTok. There you go. And that's what you're doing because you're speaking to the people. Because I see you, you speaking to the people. You speak directly to them, they're going to come to you. And if you give them samples of what you do, they're going to gravitate to you. So when it really comes to like starting it, yes, a lot of it is going to come from you, mostly internally. So when it really hits, now you can take it and then you can grow it. Now you're not just dealing with one student. Maybe you're dealing with 4 students. And because I did well with my first student, with one of my first students of my second year, she told her mother, who worked at a school, and all of a sudden I got endorsed by that school to be the math tutor. Like, if you need math assistance, go see Miss Codner. Go see Miss Audrey. She is awesome. You never know. So a lot of people want to sit back and just kind of wait. Hey, Spider-Man. So the one thing you definitely need to go out there. 1, get your mindset. 2, get your niche. 3, talk to your parents. Don't talk at them. Talk to them. Make that connection. Build relationships. Okay. And then once you do all that, then it starts to grow. But I think the main thing that gets a lot of people is that marketing piece. That marketing piece is what is killing people. That's what's happening to a lot of teachers. That's why a lot of people, if I may say, this is why a lot of people go into those third-party tutoring companies. And I did receive a phone call from a young lady today talking about, wondering if I have a tutoring business. Like, I don't have a tutoring company. I teach people how to build their own tutoring businesses, because a lot of these third parties, if you're scared about the marketing, I'm going to tell you, you're not spending 30% of your money for marketing. No. And it's just a simple way of just you being you. That's all you have to do. So I know it seems kind of weird to talk in front of a camera and there's no one there. And I have like little twerks and quirks and all that stuff that jumps in there. But here's the thing. We have to know who we are and stay true to that. We are given a gift. If you believe in God, yes or no, if you want to call it the universe, whatever you want to call it, but we were given a gift. And if your gift is to break down concepts, if your gift is to tutor and to teach and to educate, if your gift is to create something out of, I don't know, let's say a piece of paper, and all of a sudden it's like not even a crane, it's like a crane raised to the 80th power. It's like major designs. If you ever go into an art museum and you're looking at some of the things, you're like, that's made out of what? And this is amazing. You're basically putting your creativity, your heart, your desire, your purpose out there to help serve other people so they can break through barriers and they can expand their creativity. That's what business really is. It's not just money grubbing. You're going to get the money, but it really comes down to you need to serve and show your expertise and show what you have learned throughout your years. And it doesn't matter. You could be 10 years old and learn a couple of things that you're really good at, and you can teach other 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds how to do that. I used to tutor accounting. Yes, that's awesome, because there's another friend of mine that's on Facebook. She does tutoring as well. So, hey, Savannah. Susanna, sorry. I had Savannah in there. So when it comes down to your whole tutoring, you can take all this for any kind of business. You have to understand what marketing is. And again, it's just another way of you presenting your expertise to someone who doesn't know that they're great yet. And it's because of your expertise and they're watching you and they're seeing examples of your stuff. Now they want to grow and expand and go. But you have to set yourself up first before you can bring that person in. So you can do your marketing word of mouth. I always say make a flyer. When you first start, make a flyer, but don't put just your stuff all over it. Really talk to your audience. Start off with a question. Yes, and we have Beth Ann. Do you find it hard to fill slots during the regular school hours, or do you tutor at night only? I have a combination. That's a good question. For me, since I do secondary, so I have middle school and I have high schools and college, kids. So college, that helps because that's during the day because their schedule is so much more fluent than high school. Whereas high school students, there's some kids, especially if they're in private or parochial schools, some of them have what's called study hall. And I actually tutor some of my kids during their study hall or their planning period, especially if they're like juniors and seniors. They always have like a very loose schedule compared to someone that's a freshman or a sophomore. So a lot of times, yes, I have nights. And especially I'm in the East Coast and I'm starting to get kids on the West Coast. There's some late nights, but they're such awesome kids. I'm like, all right, here we go. Let me take a little sip of this tea and let me try to keep myself up because that's where the flexibility is going to kick in. I know when people first start tutoring, they're always like, look, let me get those homeschool kids because that means I can tutor in the mornings and then I'll have my afternoons and then maybe take a couple of kids in the evening and I'm done. You're sitting here trying to build a schedule that is not existent. Homeschool parents is really hard to get into. If you know someone that has an in, that would be fabulous. They can probably help you out. They'll probably reach out to you and they'll expend their hand out for you. But if you're just coming straight off the street, they're like, who are you? We don't know you. There's a reason why they pulled their kids out of the schools. They don't want any more of that additional poisoning. Let's call it what it is. That's the reason why they pulled their kids out. They want to teach and educate. They want their kids to really absorb. I think that would be the best part. Absorb what's going on in this life. So now I'm starting to see a lot of travel parents. Like they're like, look, we're not even staying in the States. Like we're going to Spain and we're going to backtrack it and we're going to like just be everywhere. But they're also teaching their kids how does the math connect to this environment, which I think is awesome. But we all know they're going to get to a point where it just gets a little overwhelming and they'll need a tutor. So I always say, like, if you're on Facebook, check it out. And also TikTok and also Instagram, like check out those places, those tracking parents. All right. Is that Brett? Hi, Brett. Sorry, I have to go like this. Okay. So I can see everybody. So there's always different niches. There's always different ways of finding clients. But again, you're not finding them. You're seeing what's coming to you. And I always like to have like a calendar. So it has my dates and my times that I am available to take on tutoring. And I know I had a lot of student athletes last year and the year before because I used to play professional basketball and a lot of my former teammates and even some of the kids, they're not kids anymore, even some of the players I used to teach and instruct. So it was like easy for us to talk. And I know their schedules are off the chain, especially if it's not during their regular season, but if it's AAU season. And then God forbid if they play an outdoor sport and then all of a sudden the weather and then you have to rearrange your schedule and it just gets crazy. But you have to be flexible because if you're not flexible, they're just going to keep moving on. So that was like a really great question. Then we have Bridget. Hi, Bridget. How do we check out on Facebook? I missed it. Okay. So if you want to look at different groups on Facebook, so once you go to your homepage, there's going to be a spyglass, a little magnifying glass. Click on that or go to groups, click on that, and then type in like travel groups. You can drop in travel groups. You can do homeschooling groups, like parenting groups. But here's the thing, and I've mentioned this in a couple other places. You don't just go in there like, hi, I'm a tutor and I want to help your kids and help me with my business, because they're going to shut you down. They're going to kick you out. I always go straight to the admin. Even though they have their questions, I answer those questions, but then I also go to the admin and tell them, hey, this is exactly what I do. The reason why I'm bringing myself into your group is to help those parents that get to a certain point and they get stuck. And I just want to be a resource. But I'm going to come in here. I'm not going to be like one of those people that keep posting all the time, 3 times in 1 minute. That's annoying. Hey, Tiffany, how are you? It's really annoying. So when you come into people's groups, remember, it's almost like you're going into someone's house. You don't go in and all of a sudden start rearranging the furniture. Are you crazy? No. So you go in respectfully and you say, hey, this is a very lovely home. I like how everything's arranged. I would love, if I may, be an asset just in case. Like I do decorating. And for you, be like, I do tutoring. How do I do that? Okay. So these are the little things that people really should be thinking of when you're doing a tutoring business. You see how it's not just one dimensional. It's not just a matter of like, hey, let me just go ahead and start my business. And then you just keep going. No. So there's a whole bunch of strategies that goes behind it. So the reason why I'm doing and saying this and I'm here is because after so many programs, there's so many great programs out there that helps build tutors up. But I always found it, especially for me being a math person, that there was always something short-lived. And my first year, I felt like I was trying to be a mini version of someone else, and it wasn't successful until I finally said, okay, I talked to people. Okay, I talked to other tutors. All right, did all these programs. Now it's time for me to be me. How am I going to do it? Is it going to be picture perfect? No. Is it like if you have perfectionism, just kick it out. Just, yeah, nothing perfect. It's going to be dirty. You're just going to be there. But a lot of the parents actually appreciate that. They appreciate the realness of you. So in order to grasp on that realness, you have to understand who you are. I know I'm going to keep repeating it over and over again because that is the main part. So then once I get everybody and then start tutoring and start talking to people and letting people know that I exist, then I started saying, okay, this is starting to pick up. By year 2, I was fully booked. My fully booked was 31 students, 31 hours. Yeah, that was crazy. The second year, fully booked, 27, but I had a couple what's called a pairing. So I had 2 students in 1 hour. And once we started doing that, I just felt like I was repeating myself. And I'm like, why am I repeating myself? And then all of a sudden I said, oh, well, you're doing the same thing as this person. All right, let me get you guys together, put you guys at a group rate, but then I'll still make my money in that hour. And then I regained an hour to pick up another kid if I need to. That's just how I did that. So I did a few of those. And then here's year 3, did all the same thing. And then year 4, I'm doing this. And now I'm just saying, you know what? It's time for me to not really pass the torch, but really it's time for me to start educating other people because I'm seeing a lot of people on Facebook and everything else popping up and saying, I'm ready to leave the classroom because it's not easy anymore, right? So as they're doing that, they're leaving, they're going to, Walmarts, or they're going to working in a cafe, and they're going to like other places. And some of them are like going to the district. And I always say when teachers go to the district, that's where they go to die because their creativity is not there anymore. Now you really are in the hold of the district. You have to do what the district wants you to do. You have to teach it this way. You have to instruct it this way. And I feel like everything is like a grip. And now your creativity is not there. So I was like, I don't want that. Definitely don't want that. So I looked up and I found online tutoring and I haven't looked back. So now it's my turn to basically teach or even serve my other instructors, my other teachers, my other educators that want to make a change. They don't even have to leave the classroom. If you want to do this part-time, you still got to put in full-time effort. It's not a liaison. It's not evergreen. Okay. I use air quotes for evergreen because you still got to work. You still got to put things together. You still got to maintain things. So by saying that, I don't know. Okay. So by saying that, I'm actually going into my next part, which is my membership. So I decided, especially after hearing from a lot of tutors, a lot of people that are seasoned educators, that's been in the classroom in the trenches for years, 30 plus years. And then all of a sudden, hey, Jaden, all of a sudden, it just seems like, okay, I'm jumping into something. I'm going to these programs, which is awesome. I'm spending 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 6 months with this particular person, and I still feel lost. Or I'm not in everyone else's speed. And I just felt like, you know what? I need to design something that people can ask questions and not be judged, because I see that in a lot of programs. Just because you get it and you understand it doesn't mean that someone gets it at your same rate. So by that, I designed this You Can Tutor, because everyone keeps saying, what can I do? I know all I know is tutoring, or all I know is teaching. And I hate when teachers say that. Teachers wear a lot of hats. So I don't want to hear that you're just a teacher, because you're not just a teacher. Okay. Sometimes you're a counselor. Sometimes you're a nurse. Sometimes you're an event planner. Sometimes you're a coordinator. There's so many different things. So with that being said, I always said, you can tutor, you can tutor, you can tutor. And I'm like, you know what? I should make that the name. So that's where the name came from. So with You Can Tutor, it really just hits hard. And I'm going to be able to show it to everyone else and not on TikTok, but I'm just going to read it off to TikTok. I'm so sorry. But with the You Can Tutor, I decided to do a course, and then as my upgrade, a membership. So the course, it deals with the teacher to tutor mindset shift. We got to get that together. Your one-page business plan. So what do you want your business to look like? And that's the one thing I like about You Can Tutor, is everyone's business is not exactly the same. And that's perfectly fine. And I don't mean the difference in content. I mean the way that you approach your business should be as individualized as you. So then we have a one-page business plan. Then you're identifying and attracting your ideal clients. After you do that, we're looking at your policies. So everyone's like, policies? I'm like, yeah, that's your contracts. That's your terms and conditions. That's your scheduling. Like, how do you want to design all of this? Because the more work that you do in the beginning, the less work that you have to do throughout. It won't be as strenuous. It'll be more seamless as you go through it. After the policies, we got to work on that video etiquette. So there's so many people that I'll see tutors with the camera, like say if this is their phone, and they're like saying, hey guys, how you doing? And they're looking. And all I see is nostrils. Like, I don't want to see your nostrils. That's gross. So, hey, Jennifer. Hey, Sandra. Is that Sandra? Okay. For the most part, it's just with that whole marketing. I'm not marketing, the video etiquette. So it's like, how do you talk to the camera? Adding some pauses, which I got to get used to. I'm from Philly. We just talk, right? So when it comes to the video, working on your pauses, having that eye contact, having the posture, you don't want to be all slouched up, and you don't want to talk a little bit fast and no one understands the word that you're saying. No, slow it down. And that's one thing I know I have to learn. But those are like the video etiquettes. And also I'm going to teach you how to edit your video. See, a lot of people don't generally do that, right? And marketing, which I did mention, you want to get with that marketing. What is it that non-tech, which is your flyers and your word of mouth, versus tech, which is your social media, and looking at some other platforms like Google Business to kind of help build your business up without paying for ads. Hi. Okay. Stop spending all this money in the very beginning, because all you're going to do is get a whole bunch of likes, but you're not going to get a whole bunch of leads. So that's why you want to talk to your clientele, right? And then the last part, which is kind of hidden with my name, I tried to remove it. The last part is your onboarding protocol. So what is it? Hey, Michelle. What is it? What is that journey that you're going to take your clients on? So when they finally are interested, what are they doing? What are you saying? Okay, now you can get them on the phone. What are you going to say? Do you have to bombard them with all of your, oh, this is what I do, and this is what I majored in, and I remember getting like an award when I was in high school? They don't care about that. Parents want to know, can you help my child? And how much is it? Okay, thank you. And if you can give them a little taste, I know I feel like a drug dealer here, but I'm sorry. But if you do give them a little taste of what you do, now they can see what you're saying. Because it's easy for me to say, let me sell you this pen because it's a product. People know about pens. They know what it does, and they know what a good pen feels like, and they know what a cheap pen feels like, right? But when it comes to a service, they don't know how to put your numbers together. They don't know what will be a good price for a tutor. They have no idea. So you have to educate that. So that comes into that onboarding protocol. So after all of that, of course, everything, later on, I'm going to come up with some additional modules like lead generations, like how to get some leads without you paying for ads. Okay. We have our email marketing. Some people like to just blast with emails. Here's what I'm doing. Here's my, what do they call it? Not portfolio, but here is my newsletter. There we go. Here's my newsletter. I want to put it out there. And here's this and here's that. Some people like to do email marketing. That's not my thing. I don't know, but I'll learn it for you and I'll share it with you. But the one thing I do like is the live streaming. Exactly what I'm doing now. Okay. So how to reach out, how to give examples of what people are doing. So all of that, and I'm going to be truthful, it's going to start June 1st. That's why I'm going to open it up to the public. I'm going to launch it. I'm going to see if I can get a lot of people that are in my founders, because I do have some founding members that help me kind of play around with some things. This will work, this won't work, and all that. And to see how they're progressing. And I'm going to have them speak on my behalf instead of me hammering up here, yammering on every day. So you can actually see, yes, I do help other people with this. And it is a cost. It is a cost. It is an investment. Some people will think, oh, it's not that bad. Some people think, oh, that's crazy. But this is where I looked at my value. I believe that just the course itself, with all the modules and all the videos, some of them are videos, some of them are audio files, and plus all the resources that come with it. And once a week, we have a Q&A session. Let's do it. You got your questions, I get your answers. Let's get you moving. All that is basically, boom, the $297. But if you're just like, you know what, I don't want the course, but I want the membership. Okay, you can just have just a membership, which is the 97. So what we do is we have 4 monthly calls. So one of them is where we have our collab workday. Almost forgot what it was. So collab workday is, it starts off with a question and answer. Then there's some part of your business that you need to work on for 45 minutes. After that time, you're going to share out with the group so you can get some kind of feedback. So say that you're like, all right, Audrey, I'm going to work on my flyer. All right, you're going to be by yourself on Canva. If you have any questions, I can pull you into one of those breakout rooms and we can work on some stuff. And then at the end, share it with the group. And then you see how it's more hands-on. It's not like, okay, this is what you do. You watch this video. Okay, here's the template. All right, there you go. Like, I'm there to help you through everything. Okay. Hey, Jessica. Hey, JD. So we have that. We have business talk. Because remember, you're starting a business. And with us being teachers and educators, we were never taught how to run a business. So that's why we come on calls like this to see, hey, this is how you run a business. Hey, Lee Expressions. Hey, Wayne, how are you? Um, so JD, what's going on? So we have business talk. So I get business professionals that come in and to talk to us to help build our things up. I had a bookkeeper. I had someone that had a payment platform. We had someone that talked about insurance, which it was just the health life insurance, but I'm going to get the health insurance. That's going to come in a couple of weeks. And then next month, I have a person going for social media marketing. She's a guru, love her, and she's also on TikTok. Samara Star, Sarah Star. I can't speak. Why is that? But then you have access to the Facebook group. You have access to resources. So that's when you're doing it separately. So that's one option. Huge amount, right? 1461, crazy, because I need for you to stay with me for a year. It's just like when I was in the classroom and I wish I had that teacher mentor that can be with me throughout every step. And it was hard because my teacher mentor had to go to 6 other schools in 1 week. So I just had to catch her whenever I can catch her. And that's what I really wanted. So when I did the You Can Tutor, I figured, you know what, this will be perfect. So I can get someone that's going to help me out. So when it comes down to looking at option 2, this is when you get the course and the membership combined. It's like you get that upgrade. So you get everything on the course. Now, when I say you do the course, if I add anything and you paid for the course, guess what? That comes with it. So you don't pay extra. Like you pay for the course, you get the course. That's it. Okay. But if you pay for it later on and it's a different price, that's what you're paying. But if I add to the course, you get that. That's it. Right. No, never. It's like a one-time, lifetime, as long as you want it is right there. So then, of course, you get the course itself, but then with the membership, you get that one-to-one check-in. So you haven't ever like got stuck and you felt overwhelmed. And what happens? You shut down. You don't want other people to know that you are lost. So you hide. So I'm the type of person that I will kick the door down and I'll be like, hello, haven't seen you for a moment. What's going on? Let's talk. Let's break concepts down. Let's brainstorm. That's what those check-in calls are for. And I know a lot of people like that because they're like, oh, you didn't leave me. I'm like, no, I'm not going to leave you. I really want you to progress. I really want you to grow. So in addition to the Facebook group, you're going to have access to that resource center. So everything is going to be in one place. I have it what's called under Wilo, and all the videos are going to be there. The replays are going to be there. Even the course, well, parts of the courses are going to be there. So you'll have that resource, as well as you're now a part of a tutoring network. So I know, and I mentioned this earlier, if by chance a person calls me, say they want 5th grade math, and I'm fully booked. Now I've actually chit-chatted with people. I actually had conversations. We actually broke down, we broke bread. We could do a virtual, dinner with Audrey type thing. So I get to know you. I get to know your personality. I get to know what exactly you tutor. By that, if I get someone, I'm like, you know what? I got the perfect person for you. Let me get a moment. Let me see their availability. And then I connect the parent with the tutor. And then that's what? Now they're tutoring. Now it's up to them. Now it's up to that tutor to keep that client, do whatever they need to do to keep that client, to keep things going. That's going to be them. But because you were a part of this network, I can actually say, all right, there's someone that needs elementary help. Oh, got a perfect person for you. You got the right personality for this kid. Awesome. You guys meet up. So instead of you worrying, oh, I'm by myself, you're in a membership where now you're not by yourself. You got people from all different parts of the world. I have someone from the Philippines. We have New Zealand. We have the UK. We have Detroit. We have Florida, Massachusetts, Rochester. Just love saying the word Rochester. Sorry. New York. We have Virginia. I think I'm missing a couple places. I think Washington State, Canada. Thank you, Michelle. Just like, don't forget me. We have Canada. So it's like, it's starting to grow. It's starting to grow. So, we make it work with the time zones, with meetings. We try to make it work. But at the same time, you have that network that you can reach out to anyone and just say, "Ooh, you're really good." Oh, Georgia, I almost forgot Georgia. You're really good at, trying to get to homeschoolers. Like, can you present? And where's Heidi from? All of a sudden, I forgot. Minnesota, Michigan, begin with M. And then she did a presentation on like how she publicized on Facebook. So it's not just me. It's like we are doing a collaboration. We are basically doing a joint venture. All right. So this is why I like to, whoops, wrong way. I like to kind of collab that. So if you do the course and the membership, all together. Now, right now, I'm doing a June and July because I'm trying to get these new teachers, anyone that's new, brand spanking new to it. Instead of paying the $297 and 97 a month for the membership, it'll be $247 for the course and then $57 monthly for the membership. So I know you can do this one of two ways, and this is what a lot of people don't do. So you can either pay it in full. Everyone does that, right? And you'll get the full access to 1 year access to the membership, but you have full access to the courses. Or you can pay throughout the 12 months. A lot of people will say, oh, yeah, you can pay 3 months. You know what? I'm fine. I'm good with paying out for the 12 months. So that will be $80 per month. That will include the course and the membership. So if you pay for the $80 per month, so after the year is up, you're like, okay, what happens after the year? Well, after the year is up, then you have like another discounted rate. So you won't pay 80, you'll pay something else. I think I have another question. Ohio, sorry, Bridget. See, I told you I was going to forget somebody. She's like, don't forget Ohio. But you can pay over 12 months. And that will include the course. Anything that I add to the course, you get that included. But here's the one other thing that I like about it is if you need assistance, you just ask. I'm not here to nickel and dime you to death. It's like $80. You're like, okay, Audrey, I need to see you like 4 times a month. Okay, a little obsessive, but here we go. But it's like, oh, I need to see you every day. That's where I'm going to stop you. Okay. Because I got stuff I got to do. Okay. But at the same time, like if you're doing something or if you're watching a video or listen to the audio and you just want clarification, you can message me and say, hey, Audrey, how do I do this? Or you can go to the Facebook group and say, hey, guys, has anyone done X before? And if the answer is yes, go ahead. And then I'll chime in if I need to chime in. But at least you don't have to. One, I'm not going to keep track of like, oh, you get 8 one-on-one session. I'm not keeping track of that. I got something called a life. So, and it's hard because in order for me to get the business people, I have to do meetings. In order for me to figure out what the latest and greatest is going on, say with TikTok or LinkedIn or any other place, I have to do research. So it takes time to do research. It takes time to do videos. It takes time because you got to do editing. If you haven't experienced the joy of editing where you feel like you want to take your computer and throw it out the window, I get you. Oops. All right, drag the puzzle into the spot. Okay, we're dragging. Okay. They just wanted to verify that I'm still doing this live. Like I'm not just sleeping or something. So when it comes to the whole thing, if this sounds of some interest to you, maybe not to you, but maybe there's someone that is interested in it, please let me know. Go ahead, message me, DM me, and just say, hey, Audrey, I really want to learn a little bit more about the You Can Tutor, or I liked what you presented and I think I'm really interested in it. And sign me up. This is what I want. So if it is of interest, if you know someone that's thinking about tutoring, the best thing about being in the United States is you don't have to be certified to be a tutor, but it will be good that you know and understand the concepts, but figure out a way to break concepts down. We don't want to break our kids down. We want to break concepts down and build the encouragement and confidence up. So that's what I'm doing. The long and short of it. I know it just seems like, yeah, I'm just been hammering out the whole entire time. So now I just have to figure out, let me get out of here so I can turn this bad boy off and you can see my face again. All right. So if this is of interest, I will be coming on. I've just talked to a couple of my founders people to see if they can either come on live with me or even do a recording. And so you can kind of get the gist of how it helped them. Is this helpful? Is Audrey helpful? If Audrey is full of it, they will say it. I want them to say it. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, go ahead, girl. Tell them how good I am and just slip some money on the, well, I'm not doing that. But for the most part, I really and truly want to help people. And if they have the love for teaching and the love for education and they have some kind of niche that they really want to project, if it's not like academics, but maybe it might be soap building, maybe it might be something else. If you ever want to brainstorm some ideas, let's brainstorm before you jump. So let me say that again. If you are a teacher, you're frustrated, you're tired, you're sick and tired of all this standardized testing. I love how they want us to be active and have them in groups and everything, but yet they're being tested in a standard setting. It doesn't make any sense. It will never make any sense. But before you jump, if you ever want to just sit and just have like a brainstorming session, I'm willing to do that to see if tutoring is your next step. And if it isn't, then let's see what is your things. What are you good at? What is it something that you can do right off the top of your dome and don't have to worry about doing research on it? It might be doing hair. It might be doing nails. It might be like doing some kind of arts and craft. I don't know. But if you ever want to do something before you jump, please do not hesitate to DM me. All right. So I have taken up plenty of your time. I greatly appreciate all the likes. I greatly appreciate your time and attention. But again, if you are interested and you can tutor the course, the membership, please do not hesitate to contact me. You can get me on TikTok. You can get me on Facebook. TikTok is like You Can Tutor or Audrey Codner. You can do Facebook, Instagram. Sometimes you have the You Can Tutor on there as well. Or just look up Audrey Codner, Codner. I'm the only Audrey Codner on this planet. So that will only work. All right. So have a wonderful day. Continue to be awesome and just keep growing. All right.